You know, when Brent originally invited me here, I was thinking about this, you know, what do I know now that I wish I knew then? And you know, it wasn't that long ago, actually it was that long ago, when I was a graduate student here, and I had an office right across the way here, and I was studying industrial engineering, and I had a vision for the future. And when I left the university, I found out that life works differently in the real world than in the academic world. So I want to share some of that experience. And Brent told me not to use the E word here, so I'm not going to use that. Entrepreneurship. So instead, I'm going to use the V word. Anybody know what the V word might be?
Venture.
Not bad, not bad. Value, yeah. Ultimately, everything in life is about how you create value. And entrepreneurship is the means by which that value shows up into the hands of who? The consumer. Are we consumers? Anybody in here not a consumer? Yeah, see? We like entrepreneurs. We just don't like talking about them here for reasons that only Brent knows. But in any event, at the core is I'm actually a philosopher disguised as a professor who teaches entrepreneurship. So here's the deal. You can only live life going forward, and you can only understand life looking backward. There's a lot of stuff as you go through life that you will not know the true meaning of until you have 10 years under your belt and you go, okay, now I know why all these pieces are the way that they are. Right? Does that make any sense? It might to some of you, maybe not to any of you, I don't know. All I know is this is an important component of my talk. So, you're born, you go through a cycle in life, and then somewhere along the way, something happens, right? The journey ends. But in between is everything that's possible for you in life. So, back in the day when I was in high school, I was told that computers are the future. So I got real excited about that. Of course, you know, back then, what do you think computers use as input into the computer system? Anybody have any ideas?
Index cards.
Index cards? Yeah, kinda. They're called punch cards. We sat down at the machine and we made a lot of noise. It actually sounded like a machine gun. As you typed, it was a lot of fun. But I got excited about it because I said, hey, that's the future. So I'm looking for a way, how do I learn to become one of these people that's capable of programming these computers? So I grew up in New York City. I attended Brooklyn Technical High School. It was an engineering prep school, so I had a good start, but there were no computers there. So I had to begin doing my own research. So I started looking around, and I saw these funny devices. Anybody know what this is? No. This is a transistor radio. Everybody knows what a radio is, yes? Radio? No? Yes? Okay, good. And I started seeing these signs in the window. This was in New York City on 34th Street, right across from Macy's. And they started advertising these radios, and they were saying 10 transistors. And then I'd see a radio with 20, and then 30 transistors. I didn't know what it meant, but I knew I had to have the one with the 30. Now, how many transistors are in a computer? Anybody know? How many? A lot, right? How many? These integrated circuits that are, you know, the basis for modern computing, right, consist of hundreds of millions of transistors. So they must do something really important, right? Anybody know what a transistor does? I'm not pointing at you. I'm just, you're a double E guy, right?
Yeah.
What do they do?
Transmit current.
Transmit current. And in computers, they act as a switch, right? That's all they're doing. On, off. That's it. All right? The transistor changed everything. Every device you have today that's electronic depended on this device coming into reality. Now, what precipitated the development of the transistor? I'm sorry I had to look at you, but I did, and now we're stuck. What's that? A resistor? Well, there is some relationship to resistors and transistors. What came before the transistor? Anybody know?
Vacuum tubes?
Vacuum tubes. And what was the problem with vacuum tubes? They what? They break. They're like light bulbs, right? They heat, the elements burn out, and they tend to become unreliable over long term. And you can't pack a lot of them in a small space. So somebody said, well, let's develop a different kind of device. So that got me interested. Right? And so one of my friends, when I was in high school, he gave me this catalog, Lafayette Radio Electronics. I studied that catalog day and night. And literally all it was pictures of transistors and resistors and capacitors with their specifications. Now, why did I do that? Because I knew there was power in these devices. I just didn't know what they were, so I needed to find out. So when I went to high school and I studied electronics, they gave me this manual, the RCA tube manual, right? Because we're right in that transition, and I studied that too, because I got excited about it. And that led to this, Heathkit. Anybody hear of Heathkit? Well, this was before the dinosaurs, no, after the dinosaurs. People like me, nerds, used to build electronic kits. Voltmeters, ohm meters, oscilloscopes, power supplies, you name it, I built it. Right? Why? Because I was curious. Right? I wanted that hands-on experience. So I'm fast forwarding. I'm graduate school here at ASU studying systems engineering. I have an undergrad degree in electronics and computer science. And I'm thinking, I've learned everything I need to know now to have a successful career. I was a graduate teaching assistant. I knew a lot of people, and I was ready for the work world. So this chart here represents the stages of your life, my life too. All right, so I started looking for a job, and the future looked bright. I got my first real job in Houston, Texas, working for a company that did geophysical mapping as a programmer analyst. And I thought, now I get to use everything I learned in graduate school. Now, what do you think happened when I got to that job? Any ideas?
You didn't use any of it.
I didn't use one single thing I learned in graduate school. In fact, the only skill that I used when I learned to program in Fortran. Anybody ever hear of Fortran? All right, that's it. That's all I used. Of course, I asked my boss about it. You know what he said to me? Got you the job, didn't it? I said, yeah. I said, but I'm not going to be sticking around here because I want to use what I learned. All right? So, I learned a harsh lesson. The business has its own plan. It doesn't have your plan, unless you're a value creator. And I didn't understand that at the time, but I sure understand it now. So moving on up, I started making some money because I started to understand what was really going on, right? And I literally tripled my salary in 2 years. That's really hard to do. But I understood how to create value, and I understood how to communicate it. And that gave me new opportunity. And that's hopefully something you'll take away from this. All right, so time to share what I knew, what I know now, was what I wish I knew then. All right, so you can see as I progressed as I've gotten older, hey, it's not easy getting old. But nonetheless, I'm somewhere between this stage and this stage. All right, so looking backward, here's what I learned. Now, you don't have to spend the next 40 years figuring this out, okay? You can get it tonight and make $1 million next year. Okay? Good. First and foremost, you were born for a purpose. Anybody in here, and this is a real question, anybody in here know what that purpose is? Not you either, huh?
To educate.
Well, I'm not going to tell you what your purpose is. But I will say this, when you discover what your purpose is, everything changes. And it will reorganize your life in a beautiful way. You won't avoid the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. You'll face all kinds of challenges, but you'll do it with meaning and purpose. All right? Quoting my favorite boxer, Mike Tyson, everybody has a plan to win. So all of you have dreams and aspirations and plans how your life's going to work out. But life has a way of doing what? Punching you in the face, upsetting your plans, changing things in ways that you don't like, right? So there will be setbacks and there will be obstacles. Anybody in here ever face an obstacle? You? You? That's it? Just two people? Everybody else has had an obstacle-free life? Well, guess what? I don't want to smash your bubbles, but it's going to be a lot different than you think it is. All right? But these are teaching opportunities. Opportunities for you to learn things about yourself you never knew and to dig deeper into the core of your being, to bring new strength and new opportunity out of what you're able to learn from this. All right. So one of the hard things for most people is to accept responsibility. Everybody know what it means to be responsible? Do you like it or not? See, because part of the problem is people think, hey, I'm not responsible, right? We call it passing the buck. But until you learn to accept responsibility, your life's going to have a whole lot of problems, all right? Then you want to be accountable for your results, right? You made it, you own it, and you own the results, all right? And you have to take ownership of your mistakes. And most people, you know what they do when they made a mistake? I saw this video on America's Funniest Home Videos. This little kid about 2 years old, and his mother left the cookie jar out with chocolate chip cookies. And then she secretly filmed him. And as soon as mom left, what do you think the kid did? He went into the cookie jar. And his mother told him, don't eat those cookies. And what did he do? He did. And he had chocolate smeared all over his lips. And his mother came in and said, who ate the chocolate chip cookies? And you know what he said? Anybody in here ever been 2 years old? He said, it wasn't me, Mommy. All right, so we learn early to go, it wasn't me. It was those guys. It was accounting. It was budgeting. It was the CEO, the CFO, my teammates, whoever. Stop blaming other people. I'm not saying they don't have any, skin in this game either, but they do. But okay. So keep things simple. Life is complicated enough as it is. And last but not least, keep calm and create value. From a calm, centered mind, you can see opportunity, recognize opportunity, and act on opportunity. Anybody here have any ideas about how to create value? No. Nobody? Yeah, it's funny, because you should know, right? I guarantee you in your private conversations, you're saying to each other, hey, I have a great idea. And what happens after that? What happens? Nothing. 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 Why? Are you afraid? Yes. People fear failure, with good reason. But that's the obstacle, and that obstacle is within you. So, create value. Don't just go out there and get a job. How do you become a value creator? All right, so this will be the end here. Who's an engineer in here? All right, as an engineer, how do you create value with what you know? Innovate. Okay. Any other thoughts?
Part design.
Part design,
Physical things.
improvements and parts. Yeah, anything else? All right, let's go on the management side. How do you create value through management? Because I heard a lot of management people in here. How do you create value? Is it just telling people what to do? Or is it something else? Speak. Huh?
Like thinking when you like to think like how to do and how to manage your people and how to like compare to other companies, something like this.
All right, last question. What's the purpose of management? To motivate? Who said that? Motivate people. Any other command and control functions management might have? I don't know. Like organizing resources and getting people to do stuff in a way that produces value? Possibly. Anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate it, and I'll be around if you have any questions. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sean. I'm a freestyle skier and the founder of Strax Gear. I've been skiing for 20 years now. I've skied some of the purest powder in Mammoth, California, and anywhere I can find snow in Arizona. But when I get back from my weekend adventures, all my priceless gear ends up shoved in a closet or stuffed in some smelly, dirty bag. This is because current equipment organizers do not provide the values and needs of outdoor enthusiasts. They're poorly built, they're made to be tucked away, they're not the right fit for the job, and they're built with little thought into how they impact our environment. This is why at Strax Gear we created the Strax Rack. I'm going to pass this around now. The Strax Rack is built to deliver true versatility and empower the user. It is a fragment of the size, offering twice the utility, and is 3 times as environmentally friendly. The rack's user-centric design makes it effortless to store and display all types of adventure gear. Now, what's really cool about the design is the product is built from a repurposed ski factory material. That material being Moso bamboo, which is one of the most eco-friendly building materials on the planet. Unlike trees, Moso bamboo does not die after harvesting and grows at an astonishingly fast rate. Our users love the product too, but more importantly, what we have found, our users are taking their gear out of their closets and garages and putting it on display using the Strax Rack. In the US, 60% of adults consider themselves outdoor consumers, and those consumers spent over $184 billion on outdoor gear in 2017. They also spent $17 billion on home organization products in 2017 as well. But more importantly, consumers desire sustainable offerings, and they're willing to pay a premium for it. They also desire in plain sight home organization products rather than products built to be kept out of view. The Strax Rack is built for anyone passionate about their gear. This can be skaters, rock climbers, hockey players, and many more. But initially, we are targeting the skiing, snowboarding, and mountain biking community. We are leveraging low-cost marketing opportunities through social media platforms, as well as engaging in the outdoor community through outdoor events and trade shows. When customers hear of us, they can purchase our product directly online. Our product comes milled in pieces from the Slant Skis factory in the Tahoe area, where then Strax assembles, finishes the product, and sends them directly to our consumers. Currently in the marketplace, equipment organizers do not support the needs and values of outdoor consumers. Although they can store and display a variety of outdoor equipment, none of them are built to store and display the majority of wearable gear. What we have found is that outdoor users desire versatile, durable products built from sustainable companies, and they're willing to pay a premium for these features. Our talented team is currently looking to expand. My background is in product design with an emphasis on outdoor product development. Our director of sales, Sam, has worked for 2 other startups as sales director. And we also have Nick, who has a background in digital design and social media strategy, making him our digital marketing director. More importantly though, we have 4 superstar mentors helping us out with 75 years of business development and startup experience. But even with all this help, we still have run into so many challenges in just 4 months. We have experienced everything from manufacturers not holding up their end of a contract, even to a fallout with previous original co-founders. But one of the biggest things I've learned over the past 4 months starting a company is that team is everything. If you have the right team, you can work through almost any challenge put in your way. You're also going to spend twice as much money as you think, and it's going to take you 3 times longer than you think. But if you're passionate about what you're doing, you're going to have a blast doing it. So far, I have. That is all. Thank you so much for listening in. I'm going to open it up to questions now.